Right now on Good Morning America, first look, Iran responds to a massive wave of new U.S. airstrikes, a major escalation in the Middle East, oil prices rising just as President Trump attends the NATO summit.
The shocking images, support columns in this New York high-rise buckling, triggering concerns the building could collapse. A nearby school and hotel evacuated. New video overnight of crews trying to stabilize the building.
Another accuser comes forward, adding to the pressure on Maine Senate candidate Graham Plattner to drop out.
Paris Hilton's major victory in her years-long fight to shut down a girls' school that she claims subjected her to abuse.
The stunning comeback, Lionel Messi's emotional reaction to his historic World Cup win, and how his wife responded.
The heroic husky taking on a bear to protect that young boy in the driveway. We hear from the boy and his dad.
Plus, the unusual job opening at Jeopardy!
And the restaurant now charging parents money if their children misbehave.
From ABC News, this is Good Morning America, First Look.
Good Wednesday morning, everyone. I'm Sophie Flay.
And I'm Hannah Batal. We begin with breaking news. The U.S. launching a wave of new attacks on Iran.
The airstrikes are larger in scope and scale than those launched last month. And now oil prices are once again on the rise. ABC's Karen Hua has the overnight developments. Karen, good morning.
Sophie, good morning. Iran has responded to those U.S. attacks, firing back at American military sites in the region, further straining an already fragile ceasefire agreement.
Overnight, a major escalation in the Middle East. The U.S. launching new strikes in Iran. Central Command saying dozens of targets were hit, all in response to Iran's attacks on 3 ships in the Strait of Hormuz. Video posted online showing explosions from the U.S. attacks. Iran saying, "We will not allow America to interfere in the affairs and management of the strait." Tensions spreading across the region. Iran says it retaliated by targeting 85 U.S. military sites in nearby Bahrain and Kuwait. U.S. officials calling Iran's attacks a clear violation of the ceasefire. The U.S. also revoking part of the deal President Trump signed that allowed Iran to sell its oil on the international market. In response, oil prices jumping more than 5% overnight. The escalation coming as President Trump attends the NATO summit in Turkey, where he criticized allies for not backing the U.S. in the war with Iran.
Italy turned us down, and Germany turned us down, and France turned us down. And it's okay. But, why are we spending hundreds of billions of dollars and they're not there for us?
The president also addressing the Russia-Ukraine war, claiming it does not affect the United States.
Doesn't affect us. It really, it's far away.
Ukrainian President Zelensky is pressing to join NATO, touting the rapid improvement in Ukraine's military capabilities, now able to strike deep inside Russia.
If Ukrainians already know how to fight like this, then it does make sense for these capabilities to become a part of the alliance's collective defense. That would make all of us stronger.
Now, President Zelensky is asking for more air defense systems to use against escalating Russian attacks. He meets with President Trump this morning. Hannah?
Karen, thank you. Well, the search is intensifying for a Boeing 737 cargo plane. The K-2 Airways jet with 5 crew members lost contact with controllers over the Arabian Sea while flying from Dubai to Karachi. Officials say the plane reported a navigation problem. It rapidly descended before vanishing from radar.
Tense moments here in New York, concerned that a high-rise building was at risk of collapse as support columns started to buckle. A nearby school and hotel were quickly evacuated. Now we're learning what may be to blame. Overnight, new video showing crews racing to stabilize a 37-story high-rise in Manhattan after steel columns buckled, sparking fears the building could collapse. But now, the building commissioner expressing confidence.
I can say right now that the building is stable. It has not moved since we started monitoring it since earlier today.
Crews shoring up the tower with emergency jacks and installing new steel.
They are also installing new steel as another emergency intervention, which is creating stability.
It all began yesterday morning. Construction crews were working inside the former Pfizer headquarters, part of a project to convert the building to apartments, when steel support columns on the 21st floor began to bend.
They said they were working on the floor, and they started to watch some beams start to bend, windows start to break, some concrete start to crumble.
The buckling columns causing floors above to sag. The building, you can see here, appearing to be leaning. Officials then racing to evacuate 9 buildings in the area, including a hotel and a school. Experts say new floors recently added on top of the tower could be to blame.
What happened in that building is they put an addition on top. It was existing, and then they built another X amount of stories, 16 stories or so on top, and the weight of that is what caused the issue.
In the last year, the building has logged 7 violations, including for unsafe building demolition. But experts say the building can be saved.
The loads have to be transferred safely to the ground. These columns must be replaced.
Many nearby evacuations have now been lifted. No word on how long the repairs will take.
A judge has stopped the Justice Department from getting information about 2020 election workers in Fulton County, Georgia. The DOJ has subpoenaed the names and personal information to investigate unfounded claims about election fraud. But the Trump-appointed judge called the request an arbitrary fishing expedition.
Another accuser is adding to the pressure on Senate candidate Graham Plattner to drop out of the race. And now his campaign faces a new accusation, raising more questions about a race that could determine the balance of power in Congress this fall. Here's ABC's Lana Moise.
This morning, a new accuser coming out against Graham Plattner. A woman who says she's an ex-girlfriend accuses the embattled Maine Senate candidate of being a, quote, violent boyfriend who grabbed her, leaving bruises and blocking her in a bedroom.
The things that he has done to women, coercive control, lying, deception, abuse, and really horrible things that we know about him. You can't be that way in private and not have it translate into how you would govern.
She tells CNN Plattner secretly took off protection during sex. Plattner's campaign saying this claim is categorically false and politically motivated.
It terrifies me to think of him having any type of power politically.
Her accusation comes a day after another woman accused Plattner of misconduct.
Did Graham Plattner rape you?
By definition, yes. Absolutely.
Plattner denies the allegation and says he's reevaluating his campaign.
We are taking the time to reflect on the best path forward.
Dozens of top Democrats are now urging him to drop out as leaders scramble to replace him in a crucial Senate race that could decide control of Congress. Senator Bernie Sanders, who stood by Plattner through a series of scandals, says he spoke with Plattner, and in light of these very serious allegations, I have recommended that he step aside. And now Democratic Party officials in Maine accuse Plattner's campaign of trying to influence who might replace him on the ballot.
Unfortunately, Graham Plattner's team has repeatedly reached out to us in an attempt to put their thumb on the scale of what this process looks like.
Plattner's campaign says at no point did it try to put its finger on the scale. Plattner has until Monday to remove his name from the ballot. If he does, Democrats will have 2 weeks to find a replacement. Hannah, Sophie.
Lionel, thank you. Now to Utah and the ongoing hearing for the man accused of killing conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Prosecutors unveiled video they say shows Tyler Robinson limping around the campus of Utah Valley University that day. They claim that limp was caused by the rifle hidden inside his pants. Robinson has not entered a plea. Prosecutors plan to show a video of his former lover, to whom he allegedly confessed. The hearing will determine if Robinson stands trial.
In Arizona, a man was arrested for illegally living in a national forest. Police say the man's campsite in the Tonto National Forest was surrounded by 1,000 pounds of trash. He said he was living there for 8 years. He's pleaded guilty to several charges.
Some wild scenes after the recent storms. A tent set up in this yard near Cleveland, Ohio, was picked up by the strong winds and dropped onto an SUV. No one was hurt. And there was so much rain in southern New Jersey, floodwater is flowing through the front grille of this car. Time now for your Wednesday weather.
Good Wednesday morning. Finally drying out in the Northeast and parts of the Mid-Atlantic today, but in the Southeast, it's all about the scorching heat. Actual air temperature in the 90s in places like Houston and Orlando, with heat index values 105 plus, some dangerous heat for the Southeast. And it's a similar story in the Southwest. That's a dry heat there in Phoenix, but 114 is the forecast high today, and we are hot and dry into the Northwest as well. Even Boise approaching the triple digits with some strong to severe thunderstorms in parts of the plains and upper Midwest. Meteorologist Danny Beckstrom, ABC News.
Coming up, how a driverless taxi got a group of misbehaving teens in big trouble.
Also ahead, Paris Hilton's big victory in a fight to shut down a school she claims subjected her and other girls to abuse.
And later, the World Cup frenzy, how Lionel Messi's wife reacted to his stunning comeback. Back now with some teenagers learning there are no secrets in a Waymo. Police in San Mateo, California say they stopped one of the driverless cars after getting a report that the car was carrying two drunk 15-year-olds shooting BB guns. That report came from a Waymo employee who was watching the teens on the car's internal cameras.
A man missing for 6 days in the California wilderness has been found alive. Rondi Packard's son used a VIN number app to locate his father's truck, helping a search crew track him down. Packard had failed to return from a fishing trip after getting lost. They credit his experience in the Marines for helping him survive. And a dramatic rescue in Michigan, an officer racing to save this driver trapped in that burning truck, flames shooting from the hood. The man could be heard yelling that his leg was stuck. Bystanders helped the officer pry open the door and pull him out.
We turn now to Paris Hilton and a major victory in her battle to shut down a girls' school she claims subjected children to abuse. She says she was among them.
It's the boarding school socialite Paris Hilton spent years fighting to close.
I will not stop until America's youth is safe.
Now, authorities in Utah announcing they will revoke the license of Provo Canyon School's campus for girls, citing video they say shows a staff member hitting a child and a pattern of health and safety violations. The campus now ordered to end all services by next month. It's a result Hilton has long been fighting for.
These kids are treated worse than someone would be in prison.
Do you feel vindicated? Do you feel heard by this decision?
I definitely feel heard, and so do all the survivors. Just to hear this news is incredibly healing.
Back in 2020, she came forward with allegations against the school, saying she was beaten, forcibly medicated, and locked in solitary confinement at the facility when she was a teenager.
You're sitting on a chair, staring at a wall all day long, getting yelled at or hit.
In 2024, Hilton testified before Congress.
I was violently restrained and dragged down hallways, stripped naked.
Her advocacy helped pass protections in 16 states, including a Utah law limiting the use of restraints, sedatives, and solitary confinement at youth treatment centers, and a federal law creating oversight of the industry. The school changed ownership in 2000 and says it cannot comment on anything that came before that time. As for the new decision to revoke its license, the school says it's considering an appeal, saying our priority remains providing safe, high-quality care and support for adolescents and their families.
The school has 15 days to request a hearing. A separate campus for boys remains open.
Coming up, what we're learning about the death of a former Dallas Cowboys player.
Also ahead, the heroic dog taking on a bear to protect that young boy in the driveway. We hear from the family next.
We're back with the moment a bear took aim at a boy in Connecticut. His dog Bella came to the rescue. 6-year-old Colton was playing in his yard, and his dad was nearby when the bear approached. But that's when Bella, the 11-year-old husky, went into attack mode.
I heard Bella let out like a vicious bark. I hadn't heard her bark like that before. By the time I turned around, it was Colton standing in front of me and the bear running in Colton's direction.
It didn't get me because I ran fast inside.
Experts say it's still best to keep dogs on a leash because if that bear had been a mama bear, the outcome would have been different.
New details on the death of a Dallas Cowboys player, Marshawn Kneeland. He died by suicide in November. Researchers now confirm the 24-year-old had stage 1 CTE. His family says the brain disease diagnosis provides more context about his struggles.
Now to the World Cup and what was truly a stunning performance.
It's arguably the greatest comeback in World Cup history.
Can you believe this?
Defending champions Argentina down 2 goals late in the second half against Egypt. Argentina scoring its first goal of the game in the 79th minute.
Line something up here, Argentina. Oh, it's got in. It's 2-2. And who else? Lionel Messi.
Minutes later, superstar Lionel Messi tying it. And then, as the game looked to be heading to extra time,
sending it over. Enzo Fernandez.
Argentina taking the lead in the final minutes and beating Egypt 3-2, becoming the first team in World Cup history to overcome a 2-goal deficit with less than 15 minutes left in regulation. Messi in tears as he tried to take in the stunning comeback, his team tossing him in the air. The case for the 39-year-old being the greatest player of all time growing even stronger. His wife posting this photo with their 3 sons saying, "There are no words." Another GOAT, Tom Brady, saying, "Yeah, so that might top 28-3, referring to his own epic comeback in the Super Bowl against the Falcons. Many Americans may now be cheering on Messi, with their own team knocked out Monday by Belgium. The U.S. men's team posting a thank you note to fans, saying, "We believed, so did you," and promising, "We'll learn from this. Thank you for believing in the future of soccer in this country." Monday's match was the most watched soccer game in U.S. history, with 42 million viewers.
Messi and Argentina take on Switzerland Saturday.
It's getting good. Coming up, a job opening at Jeopardy!
Plus, why Adam Sandler called police just hours after Taylor Swift's wedding. Time to check the pulse. We begin with a job opening at Jeopardy!
The legendary quiz show is hiring a clue writer for the first time in a long time. To be considered, candidates must pass the show's contestant quiz. The salary, $178,000.
Next, why Adam Sandler called police just hours after officiating Taylor Swift's wedding.
He went to Nantucket, and that's where he called the police non-emergency line to ask where he could find a basketball court. As you can see, he found one. He loves to crash pickup basketball games. Next, a California restaurant solution to unruly children.
It's charging the parents money. The restaurant's operator says some parents are too relaxed and aren't watching their kids, who sometimes cause damage. He charged one couple $300 when their kid broke the credit card reader. Next, a lawsuit over window seats on a plane.
Yeah, this is being brought against United Airlines. The lawsuit claims passengers bought a window seat, but there was no window in their section of the row. A judge is allowing the lawsuit to proceed. And finally, a new set of wheels from Fiat.
Its new electric vehicle is called the Topolino, Italian for little mouse, but it's more of a golf cart. The top speed is 19 miles per hour and the price tag, $14,000. Checking more top stories, a major escalation in the Middle East, Iran firing at U.S. military bases in the region. That after new U.S. airstrikes on Iranian targets, retaliation for Iran attacking more ships. President Trump is meeting with leaders at the NATO summit in Turkey today.
In Houston, authorities say immigration agents shot and killed an undocumented immigrant from Mexico. They say he was trying to run them over with a car as he was being arrested. ICE has been ramping up arrests across the country in recent weeks.
The price of a first-class stamp will rise from 78 cents to 82 cents this Sunday. Other postal rates are also rising by nearly 5%.
Another milestone for Shohei Ohtani. He just hit his 300th home run. Only 4 players in the Major League history have reached 300 homers faster than Ohtani.
Today's weather, the heat and humidity are the big story from the southeast to the desert southwest, and severe storms from Colorado to Wisconsin later today.
And finally, making art with a garden hose.
Here's Danny New.
As we head into the thick of summertime,
That is so good.
one family in Iowa has been utilizing their hose to both stay cool and create art.
What do you call them?
Water silhouettes.
That is pristine. Over the past 2 summers, Carter, Parker, and their mom, Megan, have been picking up millions of views online. as they arrange themselves delicately in the driveway to create outlines of whatever comes to mind. One pediatrician commenting, "This is so creative."
I'm a proponent for whatever keeps them outdoors. Whatever we can do to stay outside in the summer and run around off the screens whenever possible.
For Megan, making these water silhouettes is something she said they just did around the neighborhood growing up, whether it was against a driveway or even a fence.
Did you think everyone did that?
I thought it was a common thing growing up, at least, like back in the 90s, 2000s.
But clearly, Carter and Parker have taken the concept and run with it. Using a towel and water cooler to sketch out Mary Poppins. Or making use of an umbrella and a stuffed animal to print Pride Rock from Lion King on the driveway. And it's a good thing they get these creations on camera, since
it dries pretty quickly. Like, we do each section and then it dries. Like, by the time
like if we do one and then do another, the other's probably dried by then.
Well, good thing they don't seem to be running low on ideas.
We have a lot of fun with it.
And I love getting wet and getting cool.
For the record, guys, because some people south of Iowa were wondering, Megan said they usually make these driveway creations in the morning before the pavement gets too hot.
Really impressive work there. That's your Good Morning America First Look.
Have a great day, everyone.